If we look at the Nikon ZR as a cinema camera, which is what Nikon is claiming that it is, one of the biggest shortfalls is the form factor. This is an odd hybrid style body that has more in common with a Leica rangefinder than any cinema camera you'll ever see. But many of these shortcomings can be addressed by putting a cage on the camera and rigging it out. So I'm going to take you through 3 different builds today, from a super run and gun lightweight setup to a mega build that looks like it's just come off a Hollywood movie set. Importantly, I'll have links in the description down below and exact model numbers for all the parts I use in these builds. So if you want to do a similar build, you'll know you have the right parts and they're all going to work together. Today's video is sponsored by SmallRig, and many of the products used in this video are SmallRig products. But this is a video I wanted to make anyways, so I approached SmallRig about sponsoring the video, and they did. If you don't need a cinema camera and you just want a hybrid camera that shoots red raw, this camera is fantastic and it's super inconspicuous. It's got that 4-inch monitor, and it's the only camera in this size and price that has these set of features. But even rigging it out a little bit is going to give you noticeable advantages. So we're going to start with what I'm going to call the mini rig first. And my mini rig setup is mostly made up of what SmallRig calls their advanced cage kit for the Nikon ZR. That's going to include the basic cage, it's going to include the top handle, and it's going to include the side handle. If we look at the way I've got it set up here, what you'll see is in all of SmallRig's marketing material, they're going to have the handle on this side of the camera, which does make some sense because over here you've got the built-in grip of the cage, and then this gives you a second grip over here, so you've got the 2 grips. But in use, putting the grip over here or the handle over here does 2 things. One is it restricts the motion of the screen. So if you don't have an on-camera monitor or a field monitor, it's going to restrict this motion. The other thing is when I'm shooting like this, the way I like to use the camera is I have my left hand controlling the iris and the focus, and I use my right hand to grip the camera. I find this a much more intuitive way to use this camera. So I'll put the grip over here. The only disadvantage of that is you're going to have to reach over and hit the record button and then come back to the grip. But you still get the advantage that the grip gives you, and that is it gives you a wider area to hold. So the narrower area that you're holding means any movements are going to be exaggerated. The wider you can get your hands, the more stable the shot's going to be. For this run and gun setup, I've also got the Thypox Samira C lenses. I think these are great with this camera because it's a small lightweight cinema camera, and then you've got small lightweight lenses. They're an M mount lens that you can adapt to Nikon Z mount. Now, I've just got a little bit of a generic adapter in there, but I would recommend, if you're using these lenses, to use this locking connector that Thypox has made. This basically gives you the functionality of a PL mount, but in an M mount setup, so it locks it in place. This is great when you're using follow focus systems. It also means that you're not going to have any play when you're pulling focus or changing the iris. And the other thing I'm doing with this setup is I'm just using a variable ND filter. We're not using any matte box. And this is a really cool 2 to 10 stop filter by JJC. I'll link this in the description as well. This is one of my favorite VND filter systems because you take this little bit off. Now that is the 2 to 5 stop, and then you put this on, and now you have a 6 to 10 stop. So you got 2 all the way to 10, and this is really one of the most elegant ways I've seen to implement this type thing. It also performs really well as far as vignette and cross pattern goes, and the colors are pretty accurate. The other option I would mention with this setup is removing the top handle and using this little port keys monitor. This is going to do a couple of things for us. It is slightly bigger than the screen, but more importantly, it has focus peaking and it has a number of features, anamorphic D-squeeze, stuff that's not included in the ZR or in some of the modes of the ZR. You're going to fix all those issues by using this little external monitor, and it is super cheap. The other thing I like about using an external monitor like this is I find it's more intuitive to compose an image when I've actually got the screen directly lined up over the top of the lens and the camera rather than to the side. I just think it's a little bit more natural when composing the images. The other thing I'll mention is beyond the advanced kit, SmallRig does have a basic cage kit, which just gives you the cage. You can also buy the cage with top handle only. And if you want to keep it really small, but you just want a little bit of an extra grip, they do have a grip that has a built-in Arca Swiss plate in it. It's kind of like the cage, but it's just the bottom and the front grip part. Now, this is what I'm going to call the medium-sized setup, and it has a number of functional advantages over the smaller setup. It's also bigger, heavier, and looks a bit more pro. So if you bought the Nikon ZR and you want to just start doing professional video work, for your first job, if you show up with a kit like this, People feel like they're going to get what they paid for. I know it's a silly thing, but seeing a rigged out camera just makes the client feel like they're getting their money's worth. And the cost difference between this and the smaller rig isn't huge, and you're getting a number of functional advantages. And the core setup remains what we had in the last video, which is that advanced kit, which includes the cage, the top handle, and the side handle. The other thing we've done, and which is included in that core kit, is this little clamp. This is the clamp for the USB-C and the HDMI. With micro HDMI, that is probably the most vulnerable thing on this camera, and also one of the most annoying things that Nikon included. But this clamp is going to protect that from breaking off. And I have double protected this. This is a little micro HDMI to full size HDMI thing. And you just screw that into the cage, and then it goes in here. And even if this gets pulled or pulled hard, it is going to be protected there. And then we've got the extra level of protection with that clamp. So if you can fit this little device on any of the setups that you've got using a monitor, I do highly recommend it. Looking at the back, we now have a V-mount battery. That's going to do a couple things for us. It's going to allow us to power the camera, so we're going to get all-day power. This is something that if you want to power over USB-C, you do need to go into the menu systems and enable that. But you enable that, you plug it in here, and then you're going to see on the monitor, you'll have your little battery indicator, and next to it, you'll have a little power plug. That means you're getting that power over USB-C. The other thing the battery does is it adds a lot of weight to the overall rig, which just makes it easier to keep handheld video stable. The other thing with the way that I've set it up, you'll notice that I've got the V-mount battery coming out a fair bit past what would be the screen. That allows me to put the battery on my chest and have one hand on one side of the camera, one on the other, and then have the third point of contact on my chest. This introduces a new position and a new way to hold the camera that we couldn't in the last rig. And the V-mount battery is just mounted on SmallRig's new quick on and off system. This is super versatile, super cool. It even has a place here on the side for the screen to fold into. It's adjustable size, so regardless of what kind of camera you have, it works. And on the bottom, that's just sliding on and locking onto an Arca Swiss plate. So this will work on just about any camera rig you've got. It's quick on and off. It's a new product they released. It's actually pretty cheap and it's super cool. We've introduced a little bit bigger monitor, and I'm using a SmallRig battery on the back of that as well. We could power it off the V-mount battery, but I kind of like the extra weight, and this is just going to give me more battery to run the camera all day. The other thing we've done is we've changed the lens to a PL mount lens. We got the beautiful Nisi Athena on here, and we got Nisi's PL adapter on here. Nisi's PL adapters, when we're talking about a non-filter drop-in system adapters, these are my favorite adapters. They're reasonably small around, so I don't find them hitting on any cages, which is an issue that I have with some other PL mount adapters. And they're really smooth. I've never had one get stuck. So pretty much every mount that I have cameras on, I bought a Nisi PL to whatever it is adapter. The other thing we've got is a manual follow focus system on the side of the camera. This comes as a kit on its own, which just includes the rod holder and this is adjustable to a lot of different angles. The one option you could add to this, which would make it a little bit more pro and give you a little bit more functionality, is a matte box. We're going to talk about that in the Super Mega Rig setup, but this one could have a matte box on it as well. Now we're to the mega build portion of the video, and this looks like something that's come out of a Hollywood movie set or a Netflix documentary, and there's a whole bunch going on here. Now the last two builds, one was an evolution of the other, and it was basically just adding a few components. This is almost a complete reinvention. It's going to give you a lot more functionality. It's going to give you a lot more versatility, but this is really designed to be used when you've got a crew. This isn't so much a one-person operation at all. But the first big change you're going to notice is that we've got a shoulder rig system. It is a great way to get stable but still handheld looking footage. We still have a top handle, so if you balanced it right, you can still use it for those low angle shots. And so you're going to get that low angle handheld footage, but you also have the ability to put it up on your shoulder. But in addition to that, SmallRig makes a plate that goes on top of traditional tripods or any video tripod, and that will allow you to take this whole thing and clip it in place on top of the tripod when you want a locked off shot or you want a smooth pan. So you're getting three significantly different ways to handle and move the camera with this one rig. The other thing is you have a ton of adjustability with the camera where it is on the rig. You can slide this whole thing back or you can slide this whole thing forward. For myself personally, my vision up close isn't great, so I've slid the thing as far forward as I can to just get this monitor further away from my eyes. But when I hand it to the film skill kids, they tend to want to have that monitor a little bit close, so they'll just slide it back. You have a lot of options as far as how much you slide it or the way the thing's set up. The arms are also adjustable, so these are fully adjustable as far as the length, and then you can also adjust the handles. The angle of the handles are depending on what is comfortable for you. Now, another important feature of the setup we've got now is the matte box. This matte box has a built-in variable ND filter, so you're going to be able to control your exposure from the matte box. In addition to that, we have the flag at the top, and that is going to stop stray light coming in, so we just have a little bit of control of flare and light coming in, particularly with a lot of these cine lenses. A lot of them do flare pretty strongly. This is going to allow you to get the flare when you want, or bring this up and try to block the light and not get the flare when you don't want. Now, you'll see the lens I've got in here is the Dizio Arles Prime, and I've still got the Nisi PL to L mount adapter. And for the follow focus system, we now have a wireless follow focus system, and we've got wireless monitoring. So we've now taken the focus control away from the operator, and we've got a separate person doing that. This is the way it's going to be on bigger sets, and with bigger rigs like this, we're now going to separate those responsibilities. And the small rig one is super simple. It works really well. I don't know if I'd use it on a big budget production, but on a small little local production or on a budget, it just focuses the camera. There's not a whole lot of features to it. When you plug it in, you just click the calibrate button. Every time you put a new lens on, it calibrates the 2 hard stops and it's ready to go. There are better systems, more expensive systems out there, but if you want something inexpensive, this is gonna work well. And then one of my favorite parts of this rig is the Axoon M7 Pro wireless monitor and the CineView transmitter receiver system. Now, this is a super cool thing, and it's probably, for the money, one of the best systems on the market right now. We got the transmitter here. Once I get the right cables, it can be powered by the V-mount battery, but right now it's being powered by an NPF battery, but you've got a number of different powering options. In addition to that, most systems, you have a transmitter, and then you might have a single receiver or you have a wireless monitor. That's how they work. This system can transmit up to 4 signals for 4 devices from the one transmitter. The cool thing about this, it's going to allow your follow focus person to use this M7 Pro monitor. They can pull focus on this. It's a super high resolution, super high brightness monitor. It's going to work really well for that. But in addition to that, you can have a receiver, which comes in this kit. You can put that on a director's monitor, like a 17-inch monitor, and that can be the director's monitor. That still leaves 2 more signals. And those are perfect for gaffers to install the app on their phone. They can actually receive the image on their phone from the camera, go around, tweak lighting and different setups while looking at their phone. So the follow focus system has their input, the director's looking at their monitor, and then the gaffer and some of the other people messing with the lighting have their own signal. That's just going to give a lot more people on set a view of what the camera's seeing, and they don't have to be in the same place. You can be making these changes while you're looking at your phone. Now, ultimately, my goal with this setup is to have the V-mount battery come into the small rig distributor plate and power everything. At this stage, that's not working because I don't have all the right cables, but theoretically it will. And once I have all those details locked in, I will put that in the description down below. The rig will still look pretty much like it does now. The big difference will be you'll be able to plug everything into the distributor plate. Once the V-mount battery is running low, you'll be able to take that off, put a new one on, and it's gonna power everything. Rigging the camera up like this is gonna give you a whole different level of versatility and functionality. So if you are looking to do a bigger budget production and you can't afford an Arri Alexa or a real red camera, you're gonna be able to do this and use the Red Raw, and I think you're gonna get a pretty good result. I will put links in the description down below to everything I've covered in this video so you know it all works together. And once I have all the proper cables working so we can run everything off the distributor plate and the one V-mount battery, I will update those details as well.